What do you do when someone's hatred crashes your perfect summer day like a storm you didn't see coming? The sun blazed over Lake Serenity, its surface sparkling like a sheet of diamonds. My friends and I had spent weeks planning this jet ski party. Laughter, music, and the thrill of skimming across the water. The vibe was electric, with jet skis roaring and kids splashing in the shallows. I'd inherited this lake and the surrounding land from my grandfather, a fact I kept quiet to avoid attention. But trouble has a way of finding you, doesn't it? And trouble's name was Karen HOA. Karen lived in a squat, overpriced cabin at the edge of the lake, her property line barely kissing the shore. From the moment I met her 2 years ago, she'd been a thorn in my side. Her face, round and perpetually pinched, seemed carved to scowl. She was the kind of woman who'd yell at kids for stepping on her grass and once reported a neighbor for leaving a kayak out overnight. Her voice, sharp and grating, could slice through the calmest afternoon. Today, she stood on her porch, arms crossed, glaring at us like we'd set her world on fire. I was mid-laugh, steering my jet ski in a wide arc, when I saw her waddle toward the shore, phone pressed to her ear. Her floral muumuu flapped in the breeze, and her eyes locked on me with venom. I cut the engine, letting the jet ski bob in the water, and called out, "Everything okay, Karen?" Her lips curled into a sneer. "You're too loud. This is a peaceful community, and your little party is ruining it." Her voice carried over the water, drawing stares from my friends. "I've called the cops. They'll shut this down." I felt my stomach twist, not from fear, but from the sheer audacity. "Karen, it's a Saturday. We're just having fun. No one else is complaining." "Fun?" she spat, her jowls quivering. "You're a menace. You don't belong here, tearing up my lake with your machines." Her words stung, not because they were true, but because of the hate behind them. She didn't know I owned the lake. She didn't know a lot of things. The party continued, but a shadow hung over us. My best friend, Marcus, pulled up beside me on his jet ski. "She's always like this," he muttered. "Why she gotta ruin everything?" I shrugged, trying to shake off the irritation. "Let's just enjoy the day. The cops won't do anything." But inside I was seething. Karen's entitlement wasn't new, but calling the police over a harmless gathering? That was a new low. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, 2 squad cars rolled into the private parking lot near the Lockya lot I also owned, though I let residents use it out of courtesy. The officers stepped out, looking more annoyed than authoritative. I docked my jet ski and jogged over, my flip-flops slapping against the gravel. Karen was already there, gesticulating wildly, her voice rising like a siren. "Officers, these people are disturbing the peace," she declared, pointing at me like I was a criminal mastermind. "They're trespassing, making noise, and endangering everyone." I took a deep breath, forcing a smile. "Officers, I'm Elias Grant. I own this lake and the parking lot. We're just having a private event. Everything's under control." The younger officer, a guy with a buzz cut and a skeptical squint, raised an eyebrow. "You own the lake?" Karen's face froze, her mouth half open. "That's ridiculous," she snapped. "He's lying. This lake belongs to the community." I pulled out my phone, opened the property deed I kept in my cloud storage for moments like this, and handed it to the officer. "Check the records. My grandfather, Thomas Grant, left it to me. I've got the title for the lot, too." The officer skimmed the document, his partner peering over his shoulder. Karen's face reddened, her eyes darting between me and the phone. "This is absurd," she sputtered. "I've lived here for 10 years. I'd know if some kid owned the lake." The older officer, a woman with tired eyes, handed my phone back. "Looks legit, ma'am. He's within his rights to host an event here. No laws broken." Karen's jaw dropped, and for a moment, I thought she'd explode. Instead, she pivoted to a new attack. "Well, their cars are parked illegally in my lot. Tow them." I couldn't help it, I laughed. "Karen, I own the parking lot too. I let residents use it for free, but I can change that if you'd like." Her eyes widened, and the officers exchanged a glance, clearly done with her. The younger one sighed. "Ma'am, unless there's an actual crime, we're leaving." As the squad cars pulled away, Karen turned her fury on me. "You think you're so clever, don't you? You're nothing but a spoiled brat, throwing your money around to ruin our peace." I wanted to snap back, to tell her how her constant complaints had alienated half the neighborhood, but a voice interrupted us. "Karen, enough." It was Mrs. Delgado, a tiny woman in her 70s who lived 2 cabins down. She'd shuffled over from her porch, her cane tapping the ground. Her presence was a surprise. She rarely left her house these days. Mrs. Delgado's eyes, sharp despite her age, fixed on Karen. "You've been terrorizing this lake for years. You reported my grandson for fishing without a permit, even though he had one. You screamed at the Hendersons for their barbecue. Now this. Elias is a good kid. He's never bothered you." Karen blinked, caught off guard. "I'm protecting our community." "No," Mrs. Delgado said, her voice steady but laced with years of frustration. "You're bullying people because you're miserable, and we're tired of it." The air felt heavier, the party's noise fading into the background. My friends had gathered closer, watching the exchange. Karen's face contorted, a mix of rage and humiliation. She opened her mouth, but no words came. For the first time, she looked small, deflated. I could have piled on, could have gloated, but something in Mrs. Delgado's words hit me. Karen wasn't just a caricature of anger, she was a person, trapped in her own bitterness. I thought about my grandfather, who'd taught me that owning this land came with a responsibility to build community, not tear it down. Maybe I'd been too quick to dismiss Karen's side, even if she made it hard to care. "Karen," I said, softer now, "I'm not trying to ruin your day. If the noise is too much, we can turn down the music. But this lake is for everyone to enjoy, not just you." She didn't respond, just turned and stormed back to her cabin, her muumuu flapping like a flag of defeat. The party resumed, but the mood was different, quieter, more thoughtful. Mrs. Delgado gave me a nod before heading home, and I felt a strange mix of vindication and pity. The next morning, I woke to a notification from the neighborhood app. Karen had posted a rant, accusing me of buying the lake to torment honest residents. But the comments weren't what she expected. Neighbors, emboldened by Mrs. Delgado's stand, called her out. "You've been the problem, Karen," one wrote. "Elias shares the lake. You hoard your misery." Another posted a photo of Karen's car parked across 2 spaces in my lot, captioned, "Rules only apply to others, huh?" By noon, a tow truck arrived, not for my friends' cars, but for Karen's. I'd had enough. The lot was mine, and I'd warned her. As her sedan was hoisted away, she stood on her porch, screaming about lawsuits. But the neighbors, gathered on their lawns, didn't cheer or jeer. They just watched, their silence louder than her rage. I didn't feel triumph. Karen's life seemed like its own punishment. Her anger had built a wall no one wanted to cross. I thought about inviting her to the next party, giving her a chance to join us, but I wasn't sure she'd ever accept. Some people cling to their grudges like lifelines, even when they're drowning. As the sun set over the lake, I sat on the dock, the water calm again. I'd won, but it didn't feel like victory. It felt like a lesson. Power, like owning a lake, means nothing if it's used to crush someone already broken. Maybe next time, I'd try harder to reach Karen before it came to this. Maybe. Yindi.